Thank you for joining us today for a very exciting discussion about fusion energy, AI, and international diplomacy.
Recording
Um,
in progress.
Before we welcome our special guest, I'd like you all to once again turn your cameras on, all those who just joined. We're going to be taking a lot of photos. And our special guest plans to speak for about 20 minutes on the top topics mentioned, and then take about 25 minutes for Q&A time. The chat section should be open now, so you can go ahead and type your questions in there as you think of them. And then I'll pick as many as I can and ask you to come on camera and ask your questions one at a time. And then that brings me to a very important question, which some of you may be wondering. How do we say our special guest's name? Well, it's President Elbegdorj, but you can always call him Mr. President or President EB. Now, I'd like to introduce our friend, President Elbegdorj Tsakhia. As a young man, he led peaceful demonstrations that led to Mongolia's independence from the Soviet Union. He was then elected prime minister twice and also served 2 terms as the Mongolian president. During his leadership in Mongolia, he pursued a democratic and free market reforms and promoted human rights. He is currently a distinguished visiting fellow at the Hoover Institution at Stanford University, where his interests include AI and international diplomacy. And today he is joining us from Tokyo, where it is early in the morning on Thursday. Now, please join me in welcoming President Elbegdorj.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for this kind introduction. And I was born in Mongolia, and my parents were sheep herders. And my parents have 8 children. All of them are boys, and I am the number 8. And I grew up in Mongolia. I studied in Soviet Union. In late 1980s, I get involved with the establishing democratic movement, underground movement in Mongolia. And we had our first election, democratic election, actually, multi-party election in July 1990. And I became the member of parliament, and I became one of the drafters of our new democratic constitution. And I served my country by the free will of people. And as you introduced, and now I'm with Stanford University. Besides that, I have a lot of hats, actually. And I'm one of the members. That's a quite exclusive club called the Elders, which was established by Nelson Mandela. And there are only 11 members in that club, and Nobel Peace Prize laureates, and also former presidents. And we work for world peace, for humanity, for the good of humanity. And also I'm the member of the biggest club, also called Madrid Club, which is the biggest former president and prime minister's club. And also I get involved a lot in human rights and sustainability, and what we can do to help to contribute to the problems, to solve those problems, and how we exercise our moral authority, and we work a lot. And of course, I'm really interested in, because I live, and in Silicon Valley, and work at the Stanford University. I have been there more than 2 years, and I will be there 2 more years. And let's talk about that trending issues. What is the trending in the technology world? Actually, I will start from AI. We all know that. AI is not that new. That AI terminology first used in 1956, almost 70 years ago. And now AI is already in our life, in present. We all know that LLM, large language models, and now AI, even designing synthetic biology, through designing synthetic biology, even involved designing the life, I may say. Whole life on Earth, it actually went through that evolution. Now I think that will go with the design AI. AI now design enzymes, vaccines, and we all know that AI now programs cells. There are even chips computing like a human brain, and AI circuits actually reshaping themselves like a living organisms. AI creating and changing, optimizing properties. And just recently, we had a big workshop on AI, and there is one exciting topic called singularity. I think all of you know that what is singularity. Singularity is like where all those normal rules break down. Everything becomes AI. Very dense and powerful and self-improving AI and beyond human control and beyond human imagination and prediction. That's really interesting. And also there are a lot of exciting fields related with AI. There are digital twin. I like that. Everyone will have that digital twin, even all humans and factories and cities. Everywhere we can have that digital twins, and it doesn't matter location or something like that. And there is one thing, how that humanity will coexist with AI. That's the biggest question. Of course, AI is innovation, a lot of promising things, but AI now it's like a child, like 6 years old or 7 years old, your brother, your little brother, or your little sister. But in our cell phones, actually, there are almost we possess hundred childs, 100 children. There are AI children. When we use our map, we interact that map child. When we use everything AI, large language models, or we use calling, or we making this kind of meeting, we all use AI. And actually, children learn what we say, but they don't learn what we say usually. They learn watching us. And because of that, if you guys doing something there, those 100 children learning from you. And because of that, if how you educate that AI child, and that will behave. And after that, when it reaches adulthood, 18 years old, 20, 25 years old, that AI will improve by themselves. They will not require us. And now it's really important time for AI child. Only we have around 10 years. And your generation gonna be that generation that will parent AI, how that AI will develop further. That's a really exciting challenge, and I hope you will cope with that successfully. And other thing I really interested in technology is, of course, quantum computing. Quantum computing is like we all know that now we use all computers, all cell phones, everywhere computer. But that's actually on the binary. All those modern computers and traditional computers work like binary, and we all know that electricity becomes the kind of intelligence. But quantum computing is like a mega lab where all fields of science and engineering come together: physics, chemistry, mechanics, and it's like a combination of everything, theory and practical applications. And that actually compress decades of discovery into hours, into days, and infinite possibilities will bring through that quantum computing. And your generation will tackle that. Your generation will use that. Your generation will be behind that quantum computing. Now let's talk about a little bit fusion. Fusion is a really exciting topic, and I interest that because fusion is in a simple way. If I say that it's the process that powers the sun. Actually, that is started 4.5 billion years ago, and sun will continue. That will power sun again 5 billion years. We all know that. That fusion thing is actually that hydrogen. We call it deuterium. Deuterium, little bit heavy hydrogen. Simple hydrogen has one proton at the center, but that deuterium thing has one proton and plus one neutron. When they under that the immense pressure, when they collide, actually that became helium, that became energy, emits that energy and light and heat. Because of that, we are on the earth, having that smiling sun, smiling light of sun on earth. People wonder. Now that's actually started already Earth on Earth. That means we can have that piece of sun on Earth. How are you going to bring that? How are you going to make that happen on Earth? Actually, that happened already. Almost 3 years ago, there was big announcement from the Livermore Laboratory in California. They actually got produced more energy than in that collider. When the two deuterium collided, they got more energy. Already we have that. Already, people are working on that. But how to bring that energy? How to bring that fire and ignite it safely and make it applicable to everyone? And that's the challenge. That's the you will face. Now I will show you that one glass of water. In terms of the fuel, we have plenty of fuel for the fusion. Only this glass of water has enough hydrogen, heavy hydrogen that enough to power a house for years. If we have one bathtub of water, that's enough to power a small town for years. If we have one swimming pool of water, that has enough fuel to power a major city like Houston. Now I'm in Tokyo, as you mentioned. Tokyo is the largest, most populated city, 38 billion. Maybe there needs to be 10 swimming pool water. That's it. We will have almost infinite source of energy. And that's really, really exciting. And I think fusion is incredibly efficient. It turns just a tiny bit of mass into the massive amount of energy. It's like when humans get the fire, for example, our ancestors, or like electricity, or flight, or internet. But this fifth gonna be, I think, fusion energy. In order to make that happen, of course, you guys have to study more physics, more advanced math and engineering and material science, computer science, or fusion science. If you get that, if you learn that, I think you not only will get that good job, but you will power the civilization. You have a potential to change civilization. It's like a humans get a self-sustaining campfire, and that's really interesting and exciting thing. Imagine that just hold, that one glass of water on your hand, and please repeat me after me. There is star power in the air. Okay, this is my introductory remarks related with AI fusion, and I hope maybe you have your questions, and it's your time. Thank you, moderator.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. That was an amazing introduction, and you really explained how AI and fusion and diplomacy are all tied together. And I would now like to recognize Emily Rice to ask a question.
First off, I just want to say thank you, Mr. President, for everything that you've been doing for our generation, and it's so good to see you again. But my question is that given both the potential for benefits and misuse of AI, what role, if any, do you think international bodies such as the UN should play in monitoring and promoting countries' use of AI?
Yes, there are actually two big powers in the world in terms of the advancing AI. Of course, one of them is USA, and the other one is China. And every country and every family, every human being now is related with AI. AI already in our lives. And some people are worrying, and most of us happily using that. There are a lot of discussions at the international field and how to harness that AI potential for the good of humanity. And just 2 years ago, for example, United Nations adopted really, really big fact, big international law on future. In fact, they call Pact for Future. And in that, actually, big part of that fact for future has a big part related with AI safety issues. And we all know that in a body called the European Union, they are all discussing. Also, all those people, those CEOs and they're responsible for AIs, and also those business people, and they are talking about. And I'm not really worried about the AI. I'm worried for example, with one issue related with AI. If it actually comes into the hands of the bad people. Today we have one very outdated, one very destructive weapon. We call it nuclear weapon. Just in the last May, I was in Japan. I visited Hiroshima. You know that years of using those two bombs in Japan, Nagasaki and Hiroshima, and how that power was destructive. But for 8 years, we didn't use that. If that AI hijack that use of deadly weapons became in automatic control, independent from the human involvement, that might bring really big issue. Because of that, I campaign to rid of all nuclear weapons on Earth. Actually, that's possible. There was more than 60,000 nuclear warheads. And since the late of 1980s, actually that reduced to the 11,000, almost 5 times. If you guys voice your concern about nuclear weapons, there are only 9 countries possess nuclear weapons, and all those 5 countries, which is the UN Security Council members, they have no nuclear weapons, and two most numbers has, of course, USA and Russia. And if they talk about initially they reduced that nuclear weapon number to 500 and after that to 0, that'd be a great thing. I always worried, how can I say to my children, grandchildren, I'm leaving behind me safe world if I know that in a backyard there is stockpiles of nuclear weapon. Yeah, and that's one thing I worry about. Thank you for your question. I saw there are a lot of hands and happy hands raising.
Good enough, Stephen.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for your answer, Mr. President. Now I'd like to call on Melinda to ask your question.
Thank you so much for your time, and hello, Mr. President. Again, I just wanted to say thank you for meeting with us. Since we first met 3 years ago, your story has continually inspired me and impacted me every day. But for my question, given past uses of cyber weapons like Stuxnet, advances by NATO and AI technologies, and what you just mentioned with Emily about AI integration with nuclear weapons, what do you predict is the path forward with AI and national security? And particularly, do you foresee international collaboration addressing any specific threats or benefits with AI in security? Thank you.
Yes. I think there are also, we worried about that if that politicians, decision makers use AI in their kind of the self-serves, that's really bad. In some countries, you see that everywhere government are watching you, like controlling, everywhere camera, everywhere AI, everywhere they are watching the movement of people. And that kind of the autocratic regimes, if they marry with AI and through the reward system or through the punishment system, they use that AI to manage their society, I think there is some danger. But all people, they want to use AI in a good way, and I think there's great trend, and there are now three big topics in a international field. And when you go to conferences, of course, AI is big topic. Second is China, for example. Third, maybe Mr. President Trump, or those three big topics. Yeah, everywhere we discuss, and means that I like that open discussion. I like that open exchange of ideas, and we need to continue that. And when we can have that open discussion, we will have that open footprint. I think you guys will learn from everything, and from that discussion, if we make some decision for the good of humanity, I hope you can improve that. You guys much more smarter than us. We really best hope is our young generation everywhere.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Once again, another amazing answer. And you were kind of on the topic of the UN, so I would like to ask Nafemi to come up and please repeat your question.
Hello, Mr. President. Thank you for your time. My question was, so about last week, a group of us were at the UN General National Assembly last week,
Okay.
and the head of the UN office encouraged us to promote SDGs. How can we volunteer to promote clean energy?
Thank you. I think thank you for your interest and spending time there, with the UN. I ask you, all of you, if there is you want to meet some interesting people, go there. And in 2000s, when I studied at Harvard University, I thought I'm going to see I had at least 5 amazing people. Just within 1 year, I actually met all of those 5 people, and that is really great. I think if you want to travel, if you want to go, if you want to get involved, I think there is limitless opportunities. I usually call this time of our modern days, I usually call like a renaissance. We are living in a renaissance in the terms of the creating of knowledge and sharing knowledge. And young people and all of you, if you use that in a good way, I think you will bring a lot of good things. And related with clean energy, I'm with that. And even that coal and other things, now through that progress, through that AI, through the technology, we can have that energy. But always, I always think that if in 20 years, actually in the mid of century, 21st century, we will have that nuclear fusion. Nuclear fusion will be, yeah, bring that whole electricity, whole energy to whole civilization endlessly, and almost in an infinite opportunity. And if we want to spend some money, I think how to bring that, how to make that closer, how to make that applicable to our lives. Maybe we need to focus on more on that. And once we have that nuclear fusion on Earth in a practical terms, and in terms of the energy, there will be no issue. But of course, you can study the energy issues related with clean energy, how to make that more clean. Actually, nuclear, fusion energy has no smoke, no pollution, no radiation. That's not using those bad things. Purely clean energy, just the water, You can extract. How much glass of water in the ocean? That much of fuel humanity, our Earth possesses. That's the infinite. But your task is how to make that, how that bringing the deuterium, that heavy hydrogen, how those two hydrogen to make collide and produce that heat and the light. That's the issue, and we are all working on that. Thank you for your question. Thank you for your interest. Always be curious. Always get involved.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to ask Suri, could you come on and repeat your question?
Yes. Hello, Mr. President. My question is that how do you see AI reshaping job markets? What skills do you think my generation should focus on to remain competitive in the future job markets? Thank you.
Great. And we had that session, related with the job market and in terms of the involvement of AI. And of course, there are in 10 years, we may lose around 800 million, jobs. But there is one great future. We may use a lot of jobs, but there will be infinite number of the more businesses, more opportunities. I think in terms of the companies, in terms of those things, infinite number of the opportunities and possibilities. Actually, AI bringing that. If you study that physics behind those science, mathematics and computer science fusion, if you study that, if you're interested in that, if you get involved in that field, you will have plenty of opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Amazing answer. And I would like to invite Kate Fomro. Could you ask your question?
Yes, of course. Hello, Mr. President. I just want to thank you for taking the time to come speak with us. I know you mentioned part of my question about AI developing new fusion and fission energy strategies, but I was wondering if you see AI developing new energies beyond what we see at this moment, whether it be like a new technique of fusion and fission energy, or like from an entirely new source altogether. So I was wondering your thoughts on that.
Yes, I think I answered to that question, and now there is one topic actually left. How to answer that question. There is in our topic there is international diplomacy, and I always believe in alliance building. I think alliance building in every field is very challenging. And I always say that please be committed to your alliance. Like in a human life, if you get good friend and a really good person, you can have that friendship longer between the countries, that alliances between those continents, those alliances, and understanding each other. It's really, really important, and I think it's like building and keeping alliances. It's like same as precious as a moon landing, and keep that alliances in every fields, and alliances between universities, between young people, between students. I usually encourage, our young people in my country, for example, go out if there is opportunities, possibilities, visit those other universities, other places, and learn from your friends, from those institutions, and build more friendship. That will open more doors. Usually the doors are big, but those doors opens with very small key. That is small keys that building that alliances, and every day you can make that a small, tiny revolution, toward that good of humanity. And today we are doing that. Today we are talking about that. That actually calls international diplomacy. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, we're running a little short on time, so we have time for one more question. Hazel, could you come up and repeat your question to the president?
Hello, President Elbegdorj. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us. You mentioned your involvement with the elders. I'm interested to hear what goals of the organization you're working on and how you use technology to accomplish its goals.
Thank you very much. You know, elders, as elders, we focus on 5 core issues. And yeah, they are the conflict, everything related with the conflict. There are now 140 conflicts involved with more than 70 countries in the world. And we are involved to that. We write letters and we urge them to solve those problems in a peaceful means through the international diplomacy. And also we get involved with the climate change issues, and we get involved with the nuclear safety issues. And we actually ask those big powers, nuclear powers, to talk to each other and to think about the nuclear safety and how we should be rid of the nuclear weapons from the earth. And other thing, and now there is new topic, we call it emergence of AI. That's a really exciting topic. And other one was still we are focusing on pandemic issue. If there is one burst of pandemic like a COVID, how we should address that. And we usually meet twice per year. One is always we meet in London, one is in other cities. In coming months, in this October, late of October, our board will meet in London. We have quite big secretariat. And those 5 issues actually occupy a lot of our time, but we are really happy to contribute to that. Means that even you are person, you know, old or young, it doesn't matter. If you see the problem is big, share with others. When you share that problem with your friend, that problem becomes the shared issue. And you can tackle 2 of you, 3 of you, whole collective of you. When you talk of that, I hope you will find a good answer. That problem becomes smaller, and that problem becomes the solvable. And I say that Nelson Mandela was the founder of that group called the Elders. He said once, "It seems impossible until it's done." I think that's a great way to approach to everything in front of you. Yeah, that's my answer related to the elders.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. I see all the amazing questions in the chat, but unfortunately, we have run out of time. And on behalf of all the students who joined us today for your speech, thank you, Mr. President. And
Thank
you.
you. Yeah, there are great tools. Just yeah, one thing I would like to mention. I am quite active on social media, on X, on Instagram. If please follow me, and we can share, and you can I can be updated you. I really see that waving hands and hearts, and thank you for your interest, and that's really amazing. Thank you very much.